Are you gonna fucking introduce us, or I gotta do everything around here?
What's going on, everybody out there in podcast land? These are your hosts, Will Getling, Nick Lee. We're here, the Fight Gods podcast.
Nick Lee.
I'm gonna start that over.
No,
yeah, might as well. What's going on, everybody? This is Will Getling and Nick Lee, Fight Gods podcast. How's everyone doing out there? What's going on, Nick?
Woo! What is going on, Willie G? Nick Lee in the house. I'm ready to get it rocking and rolling for Fight Gods Podcast, Episode 6. What is going on out there in the world, everybody? How you doing? Hope everybody's having a lovely, lovely evening. Me, myself, and Willie G are doing fine this afternoon. We're going to bring you a great show today. So why don't you start us off, Willie G? Talk to me.
Let's start with the elephant in the room. This guy is bursting at the seams to rub it in. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
What did I tell you?
What'd you tell me?
What'd I tell you?
What'd you tell me?
What did I tell you about my boy, my man?
Let's hear it.
Brian Ortega.
T-City. Wow.
What did I tell you? This guy, William Getling, is supposed to be our UFC expert? Expert? Get out of town. Expert. He's telling me Frankie Edgar is going to beat my guy, Brian Ortega.
Ortega did great.
Destroyed him. First UFC fighter ever to put away Frankie Edgar.
That's true. That's true. It was pretty impressive. Ortega sealed the deal quick and now is getting a title shot against Max Holloway. Should be an awesome fight. Yeah. Well, he said today on an interview that him and Dana White have been texting each other and that his next fight is with Max Holloway. So
why don't you shoot him a text message?
I'll shoot him a text
right now. Get the phone. Ortega, talk to me.
We need to know what's going on. I'll get on the phone with him, Henry Gracie, all my peeps out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was shocked. Nick was right about that one. He was right. But if you remember correctly, and you could go back and watch the show, I said, I hope you're right about Ortega winning the fight. I didn't think he was going to do it, especially not by knockout, because he's not a knockout artist. He did knock out Clay Guida with a knee one time. But, man, that elbow that he hit Frankie Edgar with was ridiculous. You sit there and you see a guy like that who's one of the highest-level jiu-jitsu practitioners in the company, and you never think, wow, this guy might be just working on his striking. And obviously he was working pretty hard on it. So that was pretty awesome, man. Good job on that call. Good event, UFC 222.
For any of you guys out there who think I'm being a little too much of an asshole about rubbing it into this guy's face, you just don't understand. You don't understand how much this guy talks about being the expert. And I needed to let him know who I am. He's coming into my house. He was going to outpredict me on Elimination Chamber. So he's going to come into my level of expertise and try to outdo me. So I had to come show him what I was about.
All of New Jersey is very disappointed in you being excited about Frankie Edgar losing. I just want to point that out. All of Jersey's upset. They've all been sending me messages.
Where's Frankie Edgar from? Asbury Parkers?
Well, he's originally Tom's River.
Tom's River, that's right. Tom's River.
Tom's even pissed at you.
Listen, I'm not even really from New Jersey. I lived there for a long time.
Exactly.
I'm Brooklyn, born and raised, baby.
Brooklyn,
New York,
in
baby.
The house.
But listen, hometown boy, you had to, you got to root for him. But listen, Frankie Edgar, I'm not trying to talk shit about Frankie Edgar. That man had an amazing career. And Conor McGregor said it best. Frankie Edgar deserved for that fight to be against him.
Yeah, and he offered to fight that fight. And it just didn't get put together. They put the
it didn't get put together because UFC didn't put it together.
Right.
Conor McGregor's there. Right. UFC needs to go get him.
Yeah. I mean, that's unfortunate. Because Frankie did deserve for that to be a fight against Conor McGregor. I totally agree. But I did want to point out something to you.
What?
I am still perfect. I'm like, I don't know, 10-0, 12-0 for the year for picking main event winners. I've gotten every main event right.
So co-main events don't count as main events?
No, I'm saying I've gotten every main event right, and I've gotten all but 2 co-main events wrong. Right. I've gotten all of them right except for 2. I lost to Frankie Edgar.
It's the first week of March. Yeah. And he's talking he's perfect for the year.
Yeah.
It's not like it's November. When it's November, you could say I've been perfect all year. It's March.
Oh, but
how many pay-per-views have there been?
Just fight night pay-per-views. No, there's been 7 events, I think.
Okay.
7-0 for main events, 5-2 for co-main events. The only 2 co-main events I got wrong, Frankie Edgar lost. That was a blow to me. And Marcin Tybura, he got knocked out by Derek Lewis after he was whipping Lewis's ass. But that was exciting. But UFC 222, great event. Nick came over, watched the pay-per-view.
Most of it.
Oh, no, you saw the whole pay-per-view.
I saw the whole pay-per-view. I missed all the prelims.
Right.
I was busy doing anything else.
Right. The prelims were okay. But first fight of the night on the pay-per-view was Ketlin Vieira versus Kat Zingano. I did pick Kat to win that fight, but she lost. She lost 29-27. She won that 3rd round, but the first 2 rounds, Ketlin just pretty much took her down and laid all over her. Mm-hmm. Not the most exciting fight ever, unfortunately, because Kat is an exciting fighter. She's just not fighting often enough. The fight before that she had was in July of 2016. So it's just way too long of layoffs. And she's been known to do that quite a bit lately. So hopefully she'll be fighting more regularly. I think she could drop down to 125 instead of 135. And I think that her striking would be more effective there. The not so great fight of the night was Andrei Arlovski versus Stefan Struve. It was a snooze fest.
Say on that Cat fight. That's why we're blowing past my part.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's the one match I didn't watch on the card.
Right. He only came in on the tail end of like the last 2 minutes or something.
Cat was great though. I wanted her as well to win that fight.
And Andrei Arlovski versus Stefan Struve, snooze fest, terrible fight. I said I didn't want the fight to happen, and man, it felt like it dragged on and on. There were all kinds of penalties, which you brought up, like you'd never seen that many penalties before. I think
it was like a rake to the eyes. It was like 2 of 3 of them. I mean,
it was crazy.
I see that in wrestling all the time, but no, I was excited for this fight. Unlike you, I'm a heavyweight guy. Yeah. I want to see the heavyweights. I like the slugfest. That's what I'm about. But it just wasn't what I wanted it to be from that. That's the kind of fight you want. You don't. It doesn't need to go to distance, man. That fight shouldn't get out of the first round. These guys should just be slugging each other till one of them goes down.
I agree. And both those guys are capable of having a good fight, but you need a good dance partner, and they didn't match up well. And I'm hoping that they don't have a rematch ever. Not even if there's a fire. Even if there's a fire.
I gotta stop doing that. Joshua's gonna sue me.
He's gonna get you, man. So then we got to the co-main event. Brian Ortega versus Frankie Edgar. Awesome fight, excitement. Like I said, Ortega's striking shocked me. I was very, very impressed with him. Nick called him to win the fight. I said I wanted him to, but I didn't believe he would. I thought that Frankie Edgar would be able to control the fight a little bit more. But, man, Ortega, number 1, he's got deceptive strength and power. And number 2, he's so much faster than I thought he would be. Most guys look like they're in slow motion, like they got their feet in the mud against Frankie Edgar, and he didn't.
Listen, this guy's the next champ. However, I want to stop you. I want you to slow your roll for a second. Because unless you're going out of order, if we're talking about these fights in order, I think you skipped a pretty big fight of the night.
Go ahead.
One of my favorites of the night, actually. My guy, next superstar here, Sean O'Malley.
Oh man,
this guy. I mean, this guy's a future star. This guy is just awesome, man. He's so fun to watch when he fights. Tragedy struck though. He had a foot injury. I actually have a medical update here that it was not broken. However, there is ligament damage done on a previous ligament tear in his foot, which is really, really unfortunate because this is the kind of thing that you can heal it, it can get better, but that ligament's going to get weaker every time it heals up. And, I mean, you watch the same fight I did, a lot of feet, a lot of kicks in that fight, a lot of head kicks and a lot of sweep kicks. He was kicking at the guy's knees and his legs a lot in that match, and that was really important. That was key to his victory. So, I mean, if this is going to be something that's going to bother him throughout his – and he's young kid, so if this is – I think he has time. He might have to change up his fighting style a little bit. You know what I mean? He's got to calm down with these kicks because this is something that could really hurt him.
Man, what a fight, though, huh?
Oh, what a fight.
That was exciting.
Oh, my God. Edge of my seat. pound for pound, that was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I liked the Ortega fight. Don't get me wrong, because it was my guy and he won. But I mean, this one went the distance and it was just awesome.
I think that may have been fight of the night. I can't remember, but if it wasn't,
for me it was. For me it was 100%. Yeah, I don't want to skip over to that. It was just so good. I mean, this guy and his after the fight interview with Joe Rogan was fucking hilarious.
That was great.
You know, when he said something along the lines, it's not going to stop him from having an after party.
Right.
When you're laying on the floor, writhing in pain, and you're telling everybody the most important message is that the after party is still going on, you're all right in my book.
Well, what was the last thing he said to Joe Rogan?
He said he fucking loved him.
Joe Rogan said, "I fucking love you too, man." What a great interview. That interview is a classic. Yeah. I've seen every single UFC pay-per-view, and I'm telling you right now, they should have that as like a highlight. That interview and fight.
Oh yeah,
I mean that was amazing.
I loved it too. You know me, what I say about every after fight interview: call someone out.
Oh yeah,
always call someone out. I don't care what happened. Call someone out. But this was good. Yeah, I think I'm excited for this kid's future. I want to see him in some more main event matches soon.
Oh, he definitely will.
Be on a lot of. I mean, this is going to be a long road to recovery for him. We here at Fight Guys want to wish him the best. You know, we want him to get better as quick as he can and get back on the card, man.
Oh yeah,
Sugar Sean O'Malley. Let's go.
Shout out to O'Malley.
Now I'll let you continue.
Oh yeah.
You wanted to skip over the fight.
I didn't even think about that fight. So
you don't think ever.
The co-main event. This guy. The co-main event. Brian Ortega versus Frankie Edgar. Like I was saying, Ortega was so much faster than I thought he would be against Frankie Edgar. This kid is dangerous. And Nick might be giving me a hard time about Ortega, but I told him how much I like Ortega. And I told him that I thought that Ortega could beat Max Holloway. I just didn't think he'd get past Frankie Edgar to get that title fight. But now that he's fighting Max Holloway for the belt, I'm saying new champ.
Listen to me. Brian Ortega is on a new level here.
And he just wants to make the world a better place.
He's on a different level than all these guys right now. And he is just he's awesome to watch. Yeah, what was his after fight interview? He wants to make the world a better place. No, that's good, all good and great.
The Brian Ortega organization.
The Brian Ortega Foundation. Yeah, shout out to the Brian Ortega Foundation.
We support.
He's just a very exciting talent. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the future.
The scary thing about this guy is it's like every fight he looks better.
Yeah, everything about him.
He's he's another one who had taken like a couple years off. One thing that happened, I don't know if you know this, but a while back, he almost drowned. He almost died.
Really?
And yeah, so he I can't remember the whole story, but he did almost drown. He was out of the fight game for a little while. And then he came back, and since he's came back, he's just a monster. Before that, he was just like, this guy, he was all right, top, 10, but never top 5. And since he came back, he has been an animal. That guy is scary. Like I said, since he got by, Frankie Edgar, guaranteed next champ. He's going to beat Max Holloway. I don't think he'll knock Max out. I think he'll submit him. I really
agree.
do.
Max Holloway's going down. I see
Max is amazing too, but
Max Holloway's not. He's dropping the shot to Holloway.
Definitely.
Move on to Cyborg.
Cyborg. This was it just looked like.
Favors. Keep talking about this fight.
It just looked
switching out my chair. I got ridiculous. You gave me the creaky chair.
Gave him the good chair.
Unprofessional.
This fight was kind of ridiculous. It had no place in the UFC. Props to Yana for stepping up, but she was outgunned right from the beginning. It just wasn't a close fight at all.
Not at all.
Yana did get the takedown, which the announcers went ballistic for.
She got a takedown.
But
big whoop.
Cyborg, every time Cyborg hit her, I cringed. I mean, it looked like a video for domestic violence. It was terrible.
She's a monster.
She is.
She's a monster, man. She's just scary looking. I'll tell you that much. She's so damn good.
Yeah. Shout out to Cyborg. I've interviewed her before. She's awesome. Very nice lady. If you tweet her,
Chris Cyborg?
Oh yeah.
We gotta get her on.
Tweet her, message her, she'll answer you.
Yeah.
Really nice lady. We did a full interview last summer. Great stuff. She called out a bunch of fighters. It was awesome.
Yeah.
She's one that calls out fighters every fight.
Yeah.
She called out Amanda Nunes. Yeah. And
yeah.
She'll punish Nunes in that fight, I believe. A lot of people are saying Nunes may have the skill to beat her. Not in my book. I don't think Cyborg knows that.
No, not at all. They're out of their mind if they're saying that. Yes. I mean, Nunes may be more accurate striker than Cyborg, but I mean, just the pure strength of Cyborg can overtake Nunes, I think. That's something.
Definitely. And so, yeah, I don't think that that'll be that'll be a fight that goes the distance either. I think she'll put Nunes away in 2-3 rounds. But that's just my opinion. I'm a big Chris Cyborg fan. I remember a long time ago, I'm going to say about 10 years ago. Yeah, about 10 years ago, I had a bunch of people over my house, all MMA fighters, and they were telling me how Gina Carano was going to beat Cyborg, and I told them they were out of their minds. Gina Carano was undefeated at the time. I think she was like 6 or 7-0, and Cyborg beat her like she stole something, and everybody in the house was pissed off. Even Melanie. Melanie was mad because she liked Gina Carano. Everybody liked Gina Carano because she was a babe. I mean, she's still a babe, but at the end of the day, she was a good fighter. But Cyborg is a monster. She's on a whole different level. And I mean, I think that there's guys.
Leaps and bounds above.
There's guys in the UFC I think she would knock out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Here's what I'm saying. I think Cyborg's just gonna go on she's just gonna beat up everybody for about a year and a half. And then here's what we need. Ronda Rousey comes back to UFC. Brock Lesnar style. Jumps back to the UFC to beat Cyborg. How about that? How about them apples?
I don't think.
What do you think about that? I'm calling it.
I think that Ronda better stick to the WWE because I don't think that she wants Cyborg type problems.
Nah, she's coming back. Give her a year and 6 months.
Yeah, maybe.
Come back with all that WWE experience and just kick the shit out of Cyborg.
I think she should just keep that WWE money and keep it moving. We got a new setup here in the studio.
We'll see.
What do you think, guys? We got our stuff going on. One of my favorite movies right here, Fight Club. Awesome movie. Big Ed Norton fan, even though apparently he's a hard guy to get along with. Did I tell you that? I read about him. Everybody
it's
hates
a well-known
him.
fact.
Apparently he's a prima donna. But I'm a big fan of his. And if he ever wanted to make American History X2 or something like that, and he needed me to be in the movie, I'll be in it with him. I don't mind. Give me a call. Call me up. I'll send you my number, Ed. DM me. Slide on the DM.
So anything else?
We got The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah, we got okay.
I'm not a big fan of that. I never have gotten into it.
I don't like it either. I don't know why it's there. Who put that there? Listen, we got a lot of stuff represented. We got Claudia Gadelha. We got some new school wrestling. We have
the modern day Raja.
What?
Mahara. What is it?
You haven't said it right yet.
Ever. The modern day Maharaja.
There you go.
Boom. With the tongue roll.
We got a lot of cool stuff up here. Some UFC posters that you donated here. We got the best hockey team in the world. We got some of my favorite wrestlers, Asuka, the Hardy Boys. We got AJ Styles, the modern day Maharaja, Randy Couture,
man,
Brock Lesnar. We got a good little setup. I'm happy with it. We'll change it around as time goes on.
Keep adding.
We have really old UFC posters. To be honest, here.
It's all right.
You did a good job of donating some classic UFC fights here, but come on.
We'll get some.
We gotta update this a little bit. It's okay. Classics, we like the classics here. We like the classics. But anything else? What's going on? What else? Tell me more about UFC. So what's coming up? What's the next big main event? I know we got
the
some
next
fights.
Big main event is going to be Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson for the title.
Khabib, that's right.
Khabib is going to whack
coming up
with him.
April.
Yeah.
I won't be here. I won't even be in the state.
Right, that's WrestleMania weekend.
I won't even be watching. I'll be watching zero UFC that weekend.
Well, tell them about your weekend.
Tell them about my weekend. I have a big weekend planned. So, the Fight Gods, or one of the Fight Gods, will be represented down in New Orleans, Louisiana, WrestleMania weekend. I will be there. I will be in the building for NXT TakeOver Saturday night. I will be in the building WrestleMania Sunday night. I will be in the building Monday Night Raw. I will be in the building for SmackDown Live. And then I'm going to come home. Because that will be 4 nights of wrestling. But I will be there. I'll be doing a lot of live streaming from the arena, from around the area. I'll be going to, I don't know how, but I'll be at NXT TakeOver and ROH Supercard at the same time somehow. I will be representing both events. I'll be going to WrestleCon. I'll be meeting and greeting all kinds of people from the wrestling world. You're going to just see a lot of a big social media presence from me that week. And I'll be trying to talk to as many people as I can, going to some Q&As, getting some really cool, conversations in with some people. And, maybe they'll let me into the press box this time. I usually get denied at the press box because, you tend to give me some fake credentials. But
they're always hating on the Fight Gods. But listen, if you're in WrestleMania for the weekend, hit up Nick on the Twitter. He's going to be there signing autographs, kissing babies, hugging old ladies, all that kind of stuff, showing his dance moves. Just go ahead. Slide in on the DM for the Fight Gods for the big guy. And
listen, Twitter at @fight_gods. We're on Instagram at Fight Gods Podcast. The Facebook page. If anyone's going to be out there WrestleMania week and you want to meet up, want to get drinks, cause some havoc, even jump on the show, man. I'll be doing a live show. We're going to figure it out that Monday. We still got to do an episode. So I don't know where it's going to be from.
Since I'll be at Raw. Yeah, it'll be on the line.
On the line somehow. Maybe we'll do it during the day. But listen, anybody who's going to be down there that weekend wants to meet up, shoot us a line for sure.
This guy loves chicken wings.
I love chicken wings.
Maybe you can get some chicken wings and a beer.
I do.
He does love chicken wings.
I'm not a big drinker, but it's WrestleMania. So
it's WrestleMania. You can have one beer.
Hey, listen, what happens at WrestleMania stays at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying?
And it's in New Orleans. You can get some crawfish. That's his nickname, Crawdaddy. That's the name.
It should be a fun weekend. I'm really excited.
That's awesome. He's going to try to meet Ronda Rousey and get her to say, "This is Ronda Rousey," and you're watching the Fight Gods podcast. She's not going to say that. She'll say it. I will call in advance and let her know.
Why don't you call in your UFC guys?
I will. I'll call all of them.
But listen, it was good. Yeah, no, it's going to be an exciting weekend. We're going to see a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to meet a lot of really cool people. And I'm going to be exhausted.
You better look for Daniel Cormier. That's for real. I'm
DC
sure he'll be there.
I'm sure.
He's from New Orleans, isn't he?
He's from
Louisiana. I don't know if he's from New Orleans.
I don't know. Listen, DC.
He'll be there.
DC is a super fan, so he should be there.
He will definitely be there.
No, wait. Wouldn't he be commentating the Khabib fight?
No, probably not. I bet that he'll say no. Or he'll just fly there the next day.
You think he's that much of a wrestling mark?
Because they have John Anik and Joe Rogan, and then they kind of switch around between Daniel Cormier, Dominic Cruz, or what's the other guy's name? Paul Felder. Right. There's a variety of those guys.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, it's an exciting weekend. Hit us up if you guys want to get involved. For sure going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And if you want to be on the Fight Gods podcast, other than that, if you're a fighter, if you're a wrestler, if you want to debate Nick on something, let us know. We're always open for something wild and crazy. We've got some giveaways we want to do. So, let us know you want to get involved.
Yeah, we got constant contests going on. I'm pretty sure you started a contest somewhere. Oh, yeah. I wasn't aware. But, hey, listen, guys, we want all kinds of interesting people on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, we got, of course, we have the Pro Wrestling Hangover Show that's going to start coming out on Thursdays now. So that's something I want to tell everybody. So the WWE Hangover Show that I was doing, it was kind of frantic. Sometimes I would record it after SmackDown on Tuesday nights. Sometimes it would come out Wednesday nights. I was getting burnt out. I was doing a lot of work, for the show because as you guys may not notice, I do a lot of video editing for our regular podcast as well. So I'm up all the wee hours of the night messing around. And it was, it's starting to be a lot. So now Thursdays is going to be the new night for the WWE Hangover shows. So Thursdays, check it out. It's going to be released on our YouTube, our Facebook, our Twitter, everywhere. You're going to see me recap and review Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, any pay-per-views that might be upcoming or past. And we're going to talk about just main headlines from the pro wrestling world. We might touch on some bigger headlines from the indies. Maybe ROH, maybe New Japan, maybe Impact, if there's any big storylines from there, but it'll mainly focus probably around WWE since that's pretty much the biggest program. And it's hard for me to watch 20 hours of wrestling in 1 week. So I watch what I can from the indies and I go to shows when I can. And hopefully I can get some guests. I know we know a lot of independent wrestlers. Oh, yeah. We know a lot of guys on the scene. We're going to have a promoter upcoming on one of the episodes too to talk about some upcoming shows. So I'm really excited about the future of the Wrestling Hangover Show. I think it's going to have a lot of, potential going on. And of course, anybody who wants to debate some wrestling topics with me, fucking hit me up. We'll argue.
Oh yeah.
This show is not called Fight. It's called Fight Gods for a reason. We want to, debate us on some shit.
All right. So I'm about to hit you with a rumor that you haven't heard yet. This is big.
About what? Wrestling?
About wrestling.
I heard it.
You heard it?
Whatever it is you're saying, I heard it. I put out half the rumors.
This week, Alberto Del Rio was in the WWE headquarters filming for the Rey Mysterio DVD that's coming out, and he had a personal meeting with Vince McMahon about coming back to WWE, and his contract is up with TNA at the end of this month.
Who told you? Where'd you get this information?
I know everything, man.
No.
It's the truth.
You know everything. You didn't know Brian Ortega was going to win.
That's the truth.
His fight.
That's true, but that is the truth. No. He met with Vince McMahon about coming back. Apparently, Vince McMahon's a big fan of his. He does not like, all the trouble that he's gotten into. But if you think about it, when he was in WWE, he wasn't getting in much trouble like he is now, out of control. Those road agents kept him under control. And as we were talking about last night, Monday Night Raw needs a couple good heels. They really do.
It's not happening.
It's going to happen.
It's not happening.
Oh, yeah. Paige is going
to be Del Rio is not going to be in WWE again.
Paige is going to be with him.
No. I guarantee you Alberto Del Rio will never work for WWE again until he maybe 10 years from now when we one day decide to bring him in for the Hall of Fame, Jeff Jarrett style. Yeah. No, he won't be back.
Apparently he met with Vince about it.
He will never be back as an on-air talent.
All right, we'll see.
I'm guaranteeing you this.
We'll see.
I guarantee you this. I will eat my hat on the show.
Eat his hat. You heard it. He's going to eat his hat. Entire thing. No hot sauce.
Bro, this guy, dude. No way.
He's a pain in the ass, but
they
give people.
They have any pages on the roster. You can't have both of them.
Why?
Because he beat the shit out of her. Are you kidding? This is a family show. Do you think they want anything that has to do with domestic violence? Enzo had one of the weakest friggin' allegations that I've ever seen in my life from a girl that's half crazy, and most of the people in the world know that this is probably not the truth about Enzo, and Enzo's out.
Right.
Out. This guy is worse than Enzo. You think they're going to bring him in? No.
Apparently.
And Enzo is bringing all the eyes to 205 Live, which is what they wanted. So they got rid of the Cruiserweight's biggest star. Risked the entire division of the company just to get rid of this troublemaker. They're going to bring in someone worse?
Not toughest guy in the room.
Not happening.
So
not happening, bro.
I'm gonna get my source right now.
What source is it? Everybody writes about wrestling these days. Unless it's Dave Meltzer, I don't want to hear it.
I'm going to tell you.
If it's not Dave Meltzer, I don't want to hear the name.
You want to hear
I don't want to hear the name.
You want to hear?
I don't want to hear the name. Unless it's WWE, it's not happening.
Oh no.
There's 800,000 people writing about wrestling and talking about wrestling in the world right now. There's making shit up, putting out rumors. I put out rumors myself.
That is true.
Not happening.
All right. So also coming out today, they're saying, like I was saying, that they're going to probably make that Intercontinental title match a ladder match for the belt.
You think so?
Yep. Mike Johnson, the PWI insider. That's who my source is.
It's not your source. He wrote a public article.
Exactly. It's my source.
It's not your source.
It's my source. He messaged me.
You can't name drop people on the show. No. It's not happening. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
It's happening. No, so last week after SmackDown, they started the Unsolved series. Biggie and Tupac Unsolved, starring Josh Duhamel. Awesome show.
Josh Duhamel, the steroid user.
Exactly. Awesome show. You guys need to watch it. What's the other guy's name in it? Do you know his name?
No.
The guy you like? All right.
Well, the guy I like?
Yeah.
No, I guess because he was in it Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. No,
he's good, though.
I don't know his name.
It's a good show. Check it out. I'm a big fan. I watched it last week with kind of skepticism. See, I'm a big Tupac fan. I don't know if Nick knew that, but I've always been a big Tupac fan. And, I never even watched the All Eyes on Me video movie because I was afraid that I was going to be disgusted with it. But because this show is about the cops and not Tupac himself, I decided I'd give it a chance, and I really did like it. They had an hour and a half premiere last week, and it continues tonight. I think it's an 8-episode series. Pretty cool stuff. You get a chance, check it out. Have you watched anything new lately? Nothing, huh?
I'll tell you something right now. I don't like Tupac.
You don't like Tupac?
Not a fan of
you like
Tupac's
Biggie better?
Oh, yeah. Where am I from?
New Jersey.
From Brooklyn, baby.
Oh, I know.
Brooklyn, baby.
Brooklyn,
baby.
There's one in every crowd. You know how it goes.
Fuck you.
There's one, Jersey in the house, Brooklyn, Bronx, all that stuff.
Listen.
But
no, I was never a fan of Tupac. I'll watch the show because it's always intriguing to watch, things of that nature. As far as for me, I didn't watch anything. I really didn't watch anything this week. I took in a lot of wrestling this week. I actually, and I'm always happy when this happens, when I'm able to watch Impact, because I enjoy watching Impact when I can. It comes out every Thursday, and I'm usually pretty busy on those days, but I was able to watch, and oh my god, my guy, did you see this thing with Eddie Edwards and the baseball bat?
I still haven't seen it. No.
Oh,
heard about it though.
Good.
I don't want to watch it.
Good. We can watch a live reaction.
Really watch this
we can watch you live react.
What'd you think of Raw last night?
Good.
I'm sure you'll talk about it on
I'll talk about it on the show, but I'll talk a little bit about it. It was a really boring episode, I think. Really not a lot happened, but we got a new gimmick match that never happened before. We got the Symphony of Destruction match. That was an interesting idea, which is, a song by Megadeth. But it was a decent episode. As far as we know, Ronda Rousey is going to appear on every Raw leading up to WrestleMania. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Eddie Edwards blasted in the face with a baseball bat. Ugh.
I just wish they weren't saying now that
Sami Callihan, that's who blasted him.
Right.
Apparently this guy was on TMC when he was explaining himself. I don't want to put the volume on, but here, I'll let you.
Oh, yeah. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately with the
if you guys haven't seen this, check it out. It's Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards on Impact TV this past Thursday. He was going for a spot where Eddie Edwards had a steel chair on his chest, and he was supposed to bring the bat down onto the chair on his chest, and he kind of clipped the edge of the chair and whacked him right in his skull.
Was that Lashley?
What? No, Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan.
Yeah, but Lashley just came out of nowhere. Isn't that him in the red?
Oh, shit. Are you watching the wrong clip?
No, they're about to do it.
Okay. I don't know.
It's highlights, so I guess he got into a fight with Lashley real quick.
Yeah, here we go. He's throwing the chair in the ring. So,
yeah.
But I'm going to see your look of disgust, and I want to hear your thoughts on this spot.
This looks dangerous to begin with. I never have been a fan of barbed wire.
Every Impact always looks dangerous.
It really does. It really does. Let's see what
But they have a lot of good talent on there.
Oh, geez. That was just a stupid spot to begin with. With the chair the way it was, that was just dumb. And then we're back to Lashley fighting somebody.
Yeah, that's right. So you saw the spot.
Yeah, that was terrible.
So what do you think? You're someone, you worked the Indies. You worked the Indie circuit for a long time, right?
Yeah, the guy was using a plastic chair for one, so it's flimsy.
Yeah. But tell me, have you ever done spots? You've done spots with chairs, I assume. You ever did a spot with a baseball bat?
With a baseball bat? Nope, haven't. But
about an aluminum baseball bat, something that heavy. I mean, Jesus Christ, cracks you in the skull.
That looked terrible. But I will tell you, I was in a match one time. There was a tag team called Night Shift, and they were kind of like a gothic, almost like Edge and Christian Hardy Boys mixture, and they were really good. Well, they had a deal where they split up, and one of them, I think, was the Cruiserweight champion, and it ended up being a three-way between the three of us, and we did a weapons match.
Okay.
In this match, I got hit in the head with a chair, a ladder, all kinds of crap. And you know what hurt me the worst?
What?
A computer keyboard that rang my bell. There is no give to a computer keyboard. I mean, when I got hit with it, my ears started ringing, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Of all the things to hurt me, it was that. Another time, I was wrestling a guy named Leo Allure, and this dumb son of a bitch called for this spot. Oh, I've done it a million times, blah, blah, blah. That's a terrible sign. If somebody says they've done it a million times, well, then they don't need to do it 1,000,001. So he does a thing where he body slams me on the floor, puts a chair over me, and he's going to do a moonsault off the ropes to the floor. He landed knees first on the chair, and I ended up having bruised kidneys, messed up my ribs. Oh, man, I wanted to kill this guy. And then he tried to get me up and put me back in the ring to finish the match. And I told him, fuck you, don't touch me. And I just laid there and got counted out. And, yeah, I wanted to kill that dude after that match. So my point being, though, is there was no need for that spot right there. And for the chair to be all flimsy and falling around and stuff, really stupid. That was just haphazard, and there's no place for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots in wrestling nowadays. You see the spot, you're like, what do they think? What does that add to it? 'Cause the match was over at that point, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Really? I didn't know.
The match was over, dude. And this is just like, this was the spot after the match where he's still attacking the guy.
Ridiculous.
And, dude, the guy had a broken orbital bone, if I'm not mistaken, broken nose. He's lucky he could still see.
Right.
And it doesn't. And what are you doing this for? What is Impact paying him? $50 in the sandwich?
And all 2,000 people watching it on Pop TV.
On Twitch, dude. They're streaming it on Twitch and Pop TV. I mean, obviously they get more views than us, but still,
not by many.
No, fucking A. Yeah. Jesus,
and
it's not worth it, man. It's not. I mean, and it's kind of. I know it sounds kind of, like, oh man, they shouldn't be doing this, but then the other half time you're like, I want more blood. You think you do. You think you do sometimes. You know, we all wish wrestling could go back to the way it was and buckets of blood and this and that, but that's just not the time. That's just not what we live in anymore. It's not the time we live in. You know, it's a whole different time. We learn so much more about the human body and the effects that these kinds of things can take. And it's just something. You don't need this in wrestling like that anymore. I love a good chair shot to the head. Don't get me wrong. And every now and again, you can do this, but there's a reason we don't see this happen in WWE.
Right.
Because WWE makes a really huge effort nowadays to protect their talent. And you can see the difference it makes. And does it make for a watered down product? Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Absolutely it does. You can see it now. I mean, the most extreme match I've seen in a long time was last NXT TakeOver. The guy cut his hand, and I mean, he had to roll to the side of the ring and get it taped up. I mean, and the crowd is booing. Like, you know, they're booing the guy for getting his hand taped up. Like, dude, I don't want to see him getting blood all over him because his hand is cut up. Take 10 seconds, get your freaking thumb taped up, and go back in the match.
Have you ever seen that old match from ECW between Sabu and Cactus Jack?
Of course.
When Cactus Jack hit him in the arm with the barbed wire bat, Sabu ripped it out and taped his arm because his his artery, I don't know what his veins were, terrible. And we don't need to ever see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest right now. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I was never that big of an ECW guy. Like I said, I like the extreme stuff, but that was never really my taste. I'm more of, I can appreciate the athleticism more than I can appreciate you taking barbed wire to the skull.
That makes sense.
Now, not to take anything away from those guys, because, man, some of the best talents in the world in ECW.
Right.
From Dudley Boys to Foley to, you know,
Shane Douglas.
Taz.
Buddy of mine.
Shout out, friend of the pod, Shane Douglas.
Raven.
I mean, but it just wasn't really my taste. Even when I was younger, I was always a pretty much WWE guy. And even when ECW came over, it got watered down a little bit. RVD.
Yeah, RVD was awesome.
Whole fucking show.
But there's a big reason, and I don't know if you know, but you know the big reason they stopped doing that kind of stuff in WWE?
Health.
Well, besides that.
Okay, what?
Because it's a new day.
Oh, God.
That's my joke for the day.
That's
like it?
Good.
It's pretty good, man.
I'm glad that's it for the day.
That was quick, man. I just threw that in there.
Glad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So Raw, like you said, it was a little bit boring. I don't like the fact that they said, oh, Ronda's first match will be at WrestleMania. That just tells us, okay, she's not going to wrestle on any of these Raws that she'll be at. She doesn't need to, but at least, you know, let people think maybe she'll be wrestling soon. I don't know.
She hit a Samoan drop this week. She'll get into physical altercations, but I mean, it's important to save it. It's important to save it for something big.
Did you see what Tommy Dreamer tweeted her?
What?
He said, good job, Ronda. But if you're going to use the Samoan drop as your finisher, you should talk to, I don't remember exactly who he said, but he named a few Samoans because you're trapping your arm behind Stephanie McMahon, and you're going to end up injuring yourself or her. So,
okay.
He wanted to help her
tweet
out.
anything funny. That
No,
was just
no.
He should have DM'd her that. I thought it was going to be something. I thought it was going to be something funny.
But he told her good job. I mean, apparently he's a fan.
Dude, it's her first time.
Yeah.
Dude, how nervous were you in your first ever match? And you never were on WWE, dude.
No,
you were on the Indies. You
right.
What was your first match? In a high school gymnasium in front of 50 people?
As a VFW hall, about 100.
About 100 people. I'll bet you were nervous as shit.
Honestly, I wasn't, only because the guys that I had been practicing with a lot were my, and you know.
If you weren't nervous at all, though, you were a little nervous. Come on.
Maybe
your first time ever going out in front of people.
Maybe
you didn't think, shit, if I fuck up, that'll be embarrassing.
Honestly, man.
Now times that by the 20,000 people she did it in front of.
No, this for real though. I never was nervous wrestling, never once.
You never were nervous performing ever, like
never.
even an ounce. Okay, then you then
that's
bury
true.
my fucking point.
There's other things that I've been way more nervous about than wrestling.
All right.
I'm more nervous
wrestling.
with these videos.
I'm just talking about performing
I'm
in front of people.
I'm more nervous
performing.
about these videos.
You're just putting yourself out there. She wasn't even wrestling, dude. I'm not talking about the act of wrestling. I'm talking about the act of performing.
Oh yeah.
The act of being in front of people and letting an entire room full of people judge you based on your actions and your words and your performance and your talent level. I mean, that's what you're getting judged on. And the fact that she's getting judged on it because she came from being the biggest star in UFC, and now she has to keep that level to be at the top of her game in a whole different playing field that she's never done professionally before. It mirrors the world of UFC, but almost in every way is absolutely different.
Oh, yeah. Total opposite.
So, I mean, you can imagine. I mean, you can't expect her to be amazing at this.
No.
But for what that is, I think she did a fantastic job, man. I couldn't have done that good in my first time, you know. And you could see, you know where her struggles are. You can see she's thinking about every word before she says it, and it's fine. I expect it, but you know. Anyway, I can get into all this. You get me. I gotta slow it down.
I agree. She's doing great.
I love Ronda.
Like I said, wrestling just never made me nervous, but a lot of things have.
Yeah,
you know,
just performing and being judged. You know,
that
does not make you nervous. I mean, right now we're being judged by everybody watching this video, and half of them out there are saying these guys are pretty funny, they're doing a good job, and the other half is saying fucking losers. You know,
that's true.
To those guys, fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
To the supporters, we love you.
We love you. At this time, though, we're going to go to an interview with Jon Fitch, and we will rejoin you after that interview is over.
Already?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, we have an interview coming up, with Jon Fitch. Hope you guys enjoy. This guy is amazing to talk to.
Bellator's newest signee. Co-main event versus Paul Daly, Bellator 199.
Yeah, you got to give him a little bit of preemptive before we jump to the interview.
Awesome
dude. This guy is amazing to talk to. We interviewed him, a week ago? 2 days before he joined Bellator?
Right.
3 days. So he was not actually allowed to talk to us about his Bellator signing.
I did want to ask you about the UFC lawsuit. Is that still ongoing?
Still ongoing. We're waiting. Next stage is to get class certification. The judge will decide if all of the fighters that have fought from 2010 to present day are a part of the same class and have been damaged in the same way.
All right, that sounds good. I did also want to ask you about two fighters that you fought in your career in the UFC and how they have been very unsuccessful since USADA has come in. What do you think of Johnny Hendricks and Thiago Alves after all the steroid scandals?
I mean, for guys who really want to get to the bottom of a lot of answers, you know, guys who were TRT was a real thing. It was legal, right. And you know, those guys had to fill out paperwork and be cleared by the commissions. So that paperwork still exists.
Okay.
So if the guys want to find it, they can find for a fact who's been on it and who's legally been on it.
Right.
You don't have to really speculate. That's an answer that can be had. But I will say that you know, I had the idiot idea. I rationalized the use of testosterone myself, and one of the driving factors was because guys that I had fought and competed with, and guys that I was kind of competing around, were using TRT legally and making way more money than I was. After I got cut from the UFC, I made about 70% less per fight than I was making before.
Wow.
And there were guys who were making a lot of money who were either suspected of using or, you know, were known to have used TRT legally.
Yeah.
And that weighed heavily on some of my decision making on rationalizing that usage. You know, fighting Pilares also was a significant factor in me making that bad decision.
Right. That makes sense.
It's unfortunate.
I personally believe that stuff doesn't work in MMA anyways. I think that testosterone is for building size, and unless you're moving up a weight class, I don't think there's a benefit to using testosterone in a weight class sport. Some guys that do use it, they get huge before training camp, and they taper off and get smaller on the way down. So you have guys who are 30, 40 pounds overweight at the beginning of their training camp, and then lose weight getting down and lose muscle getting down. I don't see that necessarily as a benefit.
No.
Maybe it prevents you from getting injured because you're bigger, but that might not be because, you know, it's better for you. You may just be bigger than the people you're training with.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
But I haven't seen any really significant papers or studies done that show a benefit. Things like EPO, I think, is definitely something that helps because it just makes your blood more efficient. But I don't know if any of these other performance-enhancing drugs really do anything. Like I didn't notice any benefit from it. My ass was so sore from the injections, like I couldn't grapple for the entire training camp. It was ridiculous. It was comically stupid. It really was.
Gotcha. If you could get back any fight and have a rematch, who would it be against?
I feel like I owe Damian Maia a rematch because I was sick as hell in that fight, and I didn't give him a real fight. I was I couldn't breathe. I looked terrible in that fight, and it was, I don't know, it just could have been a great battle, but it just turned out to be a kind of ho-hum nothing.
And that was ridiculous because that was one loss. You were coming off of a win, you had a loss, and then they cut you. Right?
Yeah, it was a long time coming. We'd been threatened a number of times by Joe Silva about getting cut and signed back for less money.
Right, right.
And like I don't think they ever thought that I'd file a lawsuit.
Hey, not a lot of guys had the balls to do it, so I'm glad that you and Nate and Kung Lee did, man. That's good stuff. It needed to be done.
If I mean, you look at all sports, all professional sports, they all follow the path that we're following.
Yeah.
We're following their lead. Like, free agency didn't come about because of a collective bargaining agreement. Mm-hmm. It came about because of lawsuits. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a legal framework to back the promoter owner up against, like, you have no power. You will never have any power, because especially in MMA, the turnover rate is so fast, you're easily gotten rid of.
Yes.
At any point in time, the UFC or any promotion can fire half of their guys.
Yeah. Which is
because they're all coming off of losses.
Yeah.
Everybody's expendable, it seems like, these days.
Yep. And when you can control the rank and you can control the title, you can get rid of anybody. If every single title holder went on strike, they just fire them and then have interim belts and somebody else fight for titles then.
Yeah.
Like, if the WWE had their top 10 people go on strike, they just replace them.
Yeah.
Right.
There might be some grumbling from the fans, but that would end in 4 or 5 fight cycles at least.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Easily.
That's
You're right.
true.
You're right.
I know that you're kind of pressed for time, so I did want to ask you a couple quick questions about your teammates. You got Khabib coming up to fight Tony.
Monster.
What's that?
Khabib's a monster, dude.
Yeah,
He's just a monster.
How's that fight going to go?
Khabib's going to get inside, take him down, and beat the crap out of him on the ground.
Yeah, that makes sense. He usually does.
If Khabib right now, I see if Khabib makes weight, he smashes everybody.
Gotcha.
Like,
I totally.
I don't see anybody giving him any troubles anytime soon. I think he smashes everybody, and then he may get tired of cutting weight and move up to 170.
Yeah, is he the best grappler you've ever trained with?
Like, he's not slick. He's not going to submit you in a triangle or something smooth, right? He's going to put you in a bad position on the fence and then beat the crap out of you.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And you get up, and he's just going to take you right back down and do it again.
Gotcha. This guy over here, he's a big DC fan.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of the super fight, him and Stipe? How's DC going to do in that?
Awesome. I called that. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen before anybody said anything.
Really?
Because it's easily the biggest fight for him. Nobody else is going to draw the pay-per-view numbers than that. But I see DC. You know, he has a really strong chance of getting in on the legs, taking them down, and then doing work on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, Steve's a big guy, hits hard, and if DC can weather the storm a little bit, I think he can win that fight.
Right. Well, we've seen
Then he retires from MMA and then goes to SummerSlam
and that was his next question, guys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do we ever see DC in wrestling? Because we just saw Ronda debut this week, and that was
like, not everybody can do it, but DC he can cut a promo, and he's a big fan of this. He's a big fan of pro wrestling. So
oh yeah,
you know, I can't keep a straight face. I can't keep a straight face doing it. But, some guys, you know, he really gets into it. They mess around. Him and King Mo, they love it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can tell he's great. When you just listen to him in any interview when he's talking about wrestling, you can tell how passionate he is about it. I remember he was on doing an interview once. He was talking about how he wanted to fly down to WrestleMania like right after a fight, and his wife had to yell at him so he wasn't going to jump on an 8-hour flight. You know,
I think it was the day after he fought Anthony Johnson.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. But so what do you think about the influx of MMA fighters into pro wrestling anyway? Do you think that's like a really hard transition to make? Ronda did it. You think some other guys, like we saw Brock Lesnar have a lot of success. Ronda, I think, is definitely built for success. Stephen Bonner, you know.
Phil Burr.
I mean, it depends, and you know, they can try it, they can do it, but you never know if they're going to make the needle move.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so give them a little bit of time, whether they're just going to do a few shows and then be out, or if they're gonna actually make a career out of it. It just depends.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of what Ronda is she carries a lot of notoriety with her. Everybody knows who she is. So if people see her, hear her name, they want to watch. Yep. But I don't know if once they're watching, she still is going to grab their attention.
Exactly, right, yeah. It's a lot of name value there, so it's going to bring the eyes there, but it's going to keep them there,
Yeah.
Hit us with some shout-outs, sponsorships, anything you need to plug.
I got my my YouTube channel, official Jon Fitch. I've been doing a 10 a.m. shake break every morning, answering questions, talking about different stuff here and there, and I got my blog on Medium, Jon Fitch on Medium or whatever, and then that's going to be covering over some of my journals. I got at least 4 books of journals. I did my first one. I wrote out in a series, and then I'm going to release them one at a time, probably once a week. Maybe I'll double up some weeks depending on what's going on. But yeah, so people can read the blog and then jump on the shake break and ask me questions about what they read if they want.
Awesome, very exciting stuff. Yeah, we're big fans of the YouTube channel. We were watching the food blogs earlier today, actually.
Yeah.
It was really good stuff, man.
I got to get back to the creative food blogs. I've been doing everything on my phone.
Yeah.
And you can't do as much on the phone. So I'm in the process of getting me another computer to edit better.
Sounds good. All right, man. Well, listen. Before you go, I just want to ask you one question. When you do sign that other fight, can we get you back on here to talk about it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. Absolutely. Sounds good.
It should be. Well, I'll let you know. Things are signed.
Right.
We're just waiting on people to make announcements.
Sounds great. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good talking to you. Take care.
Take care, Jon.
Welcome back to the Fight Gods podcast. That was our interview with the man, Jon Fitch, former Professional Fighters League champion. I guess he vacated that title to go to Bellator. Pretty awesome stuff. Good luck in your fight against Paul Daly, Bellator 199. But at this point,
so you pretty much always got to vacate titles in UFC and stuff if you're switching promotions. Not wrestling, you could just fight someone and drop the title because it's a predetermined art of the sport. So but I think that's pretty.
It'll give PFL some kind of tournament or something coming up. It won't be bad. But so let's talk about some current events today.
Talk about some current events. Talk to me. I got nothing. I don't watch
the first one.
Well, I watch wrestling all week. I didn't watch any news.
All right, the first one, the Oscars.
Oh, the Oscars.
The lowest rated Oscars of modern times.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could have told you that.
You think it has to do with the all the allegations and the Me Too stuff?
Probably.
Yeah.
I would imagine everybody in Hollywood's a sex offender.
Right.
I wouldn't watch it. I didn't watch it. Right. I usually watch the Oscars. I mean, I can't tell you I didn't watch it because of that. Right. Maybe it was kind of a little bit.
I wasn't excited.
I kind of lost a lot of respect for a lot of Hollywood after all that stuff's coming out. Because that's something that it's always a piece of news that you kind of always assume, but you never know for sure until something like this happens. Right. And it's hard in this day and age because, we kind of automatically assume so many of these guys are guilty without proof. And we have this legal system for a reason. But, the minute a public figure is accused of something, it's almost like they're condemned immediately.
Yeah.
It's a little unfortunate. And you know what? And it's hard because, you can't trust the legal system either. If they find them innocent, they could be guilty. It's tough, But anyway, so lowest rated Oscars of modern times. Did you watch any of it?
I did not watch it.
Yeah, me neither.
But Trump actually tweeted about it yesterday.
Okay.
And he said, basically, I'm just paraphrasing. He said the reason no one watched the Oscars is because there's no stars anymore except for your president. LOL, I'm kidding. That's what he said. Pretty funny stuff.
I wish he would have said nobody watched it because everybody in Hollywood's grabbing pussies.
He should have. Got to grab life by the pussy. But yeah, I totally agree. And it's kind of messed up because one way or the other, no matter what, your name is never cleared, whether you did something or not, So.
In the age of information, were there any movies this year that really stood out? Because, there's a lot of good ones. I know all the ones. I don't know all the ones that were nominated for Best Movie. I know a few of them. One of them was The Shape of Water, The Darkest Hour.
I think that one Best Picture, right? The Darkest Hour?
I think Shape of Water actually won.
Okay.
It was pretty. Usually the Oscars every year. Usually it's from what I remember when I used to watch it, the same movie would always win everything. The same movie would win director, screenplay, best picture, and best actor. And nowadays you'll see it kind of splitting a little more where, you know what I mean? And I don't know what the reason is for that because, you know, but the Academy is the Academy. Nobody knows who's on, you know, nobody knows what's going on. There's a lot of, you know, secretive stuff going on. Get Out was probably the standout movie this year. It's probably the movie that I heard about the most. I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I do intend to watch it at some point. It's just
it wasn't my favorite.
I keep saying how busy I am, and I know I sound like I'm complaining a lot, but I'm a busy guy. You know, it's hard to sit down and watch a movie. I mean, you lent me a DVD, you know, a month ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago, something like that. And I haven't watched it yet.
What is the best movie you saw from 2017, do you think?
It's a tough question. Put me on the spot.
You went to a couple movies.
I did go to a couple movies.
We saw
We saw Ferdinand's probably one of my favorites. Yeah. I love Ferdinand, man. I like a good kids movie. And you know me, I got strong opinions about the kids movies these days, and I feel like
that was one of the good ones.
I feel like it needs to have a good story, good character development, a good plot, and I don't like when kids movies are too simplistic.
Right.
I feel like we're spoon feeding kids these days, a lot of bullshit, and I like when there's a good story, and I think this Ferdinand was like a really good story. It was entertaining, really funny, got me laughing, and, you know, it was good. So I really appreciated that. What was another movie we saw? The Star Wars was pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good movie, the Star Wars movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good at standing alone. If you never saw any other Star Wars movie, I think you could watch that one and say, oh, wow, it was cool. It was very suspenseful. Yeah, maybe I didn't see a lot of movies. You got to remember, man, what I was doing all of last year.
But you did see a lot of movies. I just don't think you remember what you saw.
No,
because you told me you went to the theater a few times.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, dude, all of 2017.
What was it? You went and saw It.
It, that's got to be my favorite.
Yeah.
It and Logan.
Okay.
Logan and It are probably my two favorite movies from the past year. But remember, I was in Europe for a lot of last year. So I was in Europe for about half the year, and I didn't do anything. I think I saw one movie, and that was Logan. I saw when I was overseas.
Right.
So half the year, I really wasn't doing anything. And then I was moving from New Jersey to North Carolina. I have no time to go to the movies. So I really saw maybe 4 or 5 movies this whole year.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Gotcha. Best movie I saw last year was Wind River. Okay. Awesome movie. Jeremy Renner. Mm-hmm. Love that guy. He's amazing. Really good movie.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, there you go. Hawkeye. You get a chance, check that movie out. Okay. Definitely good. Kind of like suspense, thriller, mystery type, police type stuff. Good stuff. I'm trying to think, what was the other movie? I had another movie in my head that I really enjoyed from last year. I really like Baby Driver. Obviously, it wasn't going to win any big awards, but it was a really
I remember
cool
you
movie.
were telling me about Baby Driver. Yeah.
Really cool movie.
Oh, yeah, it was good. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say It was the best movie. It was fantastic. Did you see it?
No.
Oh,
I'm scared. Will you watch it with me? I'm
fantastic movie.
All right.
Oh, my God. And I love the original one, too. I remember when I was a kid, I watched the original one.
Scared the crap out of you?
No, because, see, I was a little bitch when I was a kid. I was super scared of a lot of stuff. Like, all movies made me cry. Like, I was super scared of horror movies. But for some reason...
You cried during Forrest Gump.
I did. I don't care. Not because it was a movie. It was sad. I just thought it was a really terrible movie. But I like the scary clowns. I don't know if that makes sense. I love creepy clowns. Because, like, I think it's probably one of the coolest ideas of horror in our generation, that we could take something that was invented for purely entertainment, and literally 90% of clown usage this day is for horror. Think about it. There's no clown entertainers anymore. All clowns are completely and mainly associated with horror movies.
What did you think of Doink the Clown?
Doink was the man back in the day. Yeah, Doink and Crush, rivalry of the century. But no, I mean, I love that idea. I was like, man, that clowns can be literally completely conformed to strictly be, weapons of horror. And people literally have fears of clowns. Like they have, no. I mean, like, what do you call that when it's a fear that you have?
Like a phobia.
A phobia. Yeah. When you have
they call it clownophobia. No, I don't know.
I don't think that's what it's called. But they have a phobia of clowns, and that's insane.
They need a Xanax before they go to the.
Oh my God, it's wild to me. Because Carnival doesn't even have.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
What was the clown's name? He was a fat guy from Spawn. He was a clown. Remember? You know what I'm talking about?
I remember Spawn.
He's a big fat guy.
I don't remember Spawn.
Anyway.
That's crazy.
Moving on from the clown.
You're so old.
I am old. So last week I was talking about Facebook Live videos, and you know what? I decided I'm gonna look for the for another Facebook Live video this week that is out of control. So,
are you sponsored by Facebook Live or something? Is Facebook Live?
We are live. Look, Facebook Live video. There was a dad who forced his 10-year-old son, this is in Virginia, to run to school in the rain because he had been kicked off the bus for bullying other students.
Nice.
What do you think of that?
That's pretty cool.
It's on Facebook Live. It's viral.
So he forced his son to run to school in the rain.
Yes, and he followed him in the truck and videotaped it and said that he's old school. He doesn't tolerate and cannot stand bullying. And apparently the day before, he was giving his mother a hard time about running to school. So the dad was like really hard on him this day. It was kind of funny, probably
beat his ass.
Yeah, probably. I used to walk to school all the time, just to be honest with you, because I didn't feel like riding the bus. I did ride the bus sometimes.
They didn't have cars back in the day.
They didn't have public transportation.
You didn't make the horse and buggy to school back in his day.
That was an issue. I mean, man, they didn't have bicycles. He's got a bicycle. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I think as a dad, you don't want your kid to be a bully. I mean, that's just the way it is. You don't want your kids getting bullied, but you don't want your kid to be a bully. I was never a bully. I did get bullied sometimes. And it's just not a good feeling. And, this leads to a lot of these school shootings and that kind of stuff. We got to, come together as a community and realize that that's what's causing this kind of a problem. We got to, nip it in the bud. And if this dad thinks that this is what's going to take to get his son out of trouble, out of causing trouble, then, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I mean, listen, whatever causes the kid to be a better person. If it works, It works.
He supervised it, so it wasn't like he made him do it alone.
Who am I to judge how he, raises his kid? I mean, if it works, if it makes the kid a better person, then it makes the kid a better person. Go for him. I mean, Everybody has their different method. I'm not a father. I don't know. You know what I mean?
You got a dog. What if your dog was bullying other dogs?
He does. He was in a dog fighting ring. All he wants to do is murder other dogs.
Did you make him run home?
He runs when he fucking walks. I take him to the park and he runs all over the place. I can't take him to a social dog park. I have to take him to an isolated one. Dude, I'm not lying to you. He has murder in his eyes. I'm telling you, man. He's a murderous dog. He doesn't he'll kill other dogs.
Maybe need to give him a Xanax.
Oh, he's cool.
Crazy.
I like him.
Yeah.
He doesn't bother humans. He's cool with humans. He's cool with me. When he gets out of line, I just put him in his place.
Put him in a headlock.
Yeah,
bite him.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Next one.
Go.
You're gonna love this. There was a Florida teacher named Diana Volatich,
friend of the pod,
who is not a friend of the pod.
Oh.
Who was removed by the state of Florida Board of Education from school for hosting a white supremacist podcast.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you say that word.
A white supremacist podcast?
I think it's supremacist.
White supremacist? White supremacist? White supremacist? No, it's both.
Will!
It's all right.
Will!
Anyway, she used...
You said it twice!
Oh, it's a white supremacist.
White supremacist.
All right.
Can the fans help me out here?
White supremacist.
Dude, can we help this guy? Can you help me smarten this guy up?
It's a white supremacist.
I think it's...
Let's see.
Don't fucking live Google. Don't live Google on the podcast.
That's my friend.
Tell me about the story.
So anyway, she used an alias.
Okay.
And now her defense is it was satire.
Just trying to say she was making fun of white supremacists.
Right, but we all know that's baloney. She's guilty.
So what do you mean she was doing a podcast? Like what?
She was doing like a white supremacy advocate podcast.
So like she was putting out propaganda?
Yeah, absolutely.
Audio, video, what?
I'm not sure about that.
Did she have more followers than us?
Probably.
Jesus.
So now, since she's not teaching anymore, she probably has plenty of time to do her videos.
Yeah, I was going to say, you think she's going to get back on the podcast?
And this is for real. Do you think maybe we could get her on this show?
To do what?
To talk.
About being a white supremacist?
She could tell her story.
No, I'm not putting a white supremacist.
We let anybody tell their story.
I'm not putting a white supremacist on the show.
You shouldn't let her on here.
We're not putting white supremacists
I don't think it'd be the worst idea to have her on here just to tell her story and what happened.
Just to what? Defend herself? Defend her actions?
Sure. We could have, somebody who's anti-white.
Listen, I'm all for getting heat. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for getting heat, but that's not something I support. I'm not saying you support it either.
Right, we
but
can
why?
Debate her. What if I want to debate her on the white supremacy?
Debate her?
Yeah.
I think you're asking for trouble.
I'm a multicultural individual. I will debate her right now.
Hit her up.
I will.
Why don't you send her? Dude, I mean this. Send her an email.
I will crush her.
Send her an email.
Yeah.
Get her on Skype.
Okay.
I will film it.
Yes.
I will film it. We will edit it. Tell her, you know what? Promise her we'll give her an uncut interview. Okay. I will not cut it. I will not make her look bad.
I will.
No, seriously, this is big when you ask people to interview because they want to guarantee you for a final cut. Right. Tell them uncut, uncooked, and uncensored.
Yes.
Give her an interview, and you will debate. You can debate her.
I will. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to debate her.
All right.
Because I come from a culturally diverse family.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of cousins who are of mixed race. And I'm just against racism, so I wouldn't mind debating.
All you know is that she was doing a white supremacy pod.
Well, let's talk to her about it.
All right, hit her up. Hit her up.
I'm going to.
Hit her up.
Consider it done. Where?
Send her an email.
I threw the pen, your style. I don't know what you were thinking, Diana, but let's talk it out. Let's talk about it. We'll give you your chance to clear the air. How about that? We had an awesome episode today. Any final thoughts from you?
I don't know. Might get a lot of heat.
we
get a lot of heat.
Look,
all right, listen.
We started something last week. We need to continue it.
What?
I gave a movie idea of the week, like a movie suggestion of the week, like an old movie. This week, your turn.
What do you suggest? Would you suggest an old movie for people to watch?
I suggested people to watch True Romance, remember?
Oh, okay. So
I want you to suggest a movie.
Watch Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Everybody's seen Goodfellas.
Nobody's seen it. It's real like,
under the radar.
It's on the indie scene, If you guys haven't heard of this movie, why don't you check it out?
Check it out. Definitely Goodfellas is awesome.
Well, thank you again for another good week of podcasting. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
We talked a lot of UFC and a lot of wrestling this week. Got a lot of good stuff coming up. Look out this Thursday for the WWE Hangover Show. Pro Wrestling Hangover Show is going to be a lot of good stuff to talk about. Hoping to get a guest on with me this week, see what he can do. I know Will's got a busy schedule, so he never wants to come join me on the show.
Oh, well, we might be able to do that this week.
He's a piece of shit.
See what we can do. Let's
But
try it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll see it. All right, guys.
Throw the ball around. We'll see what's happening. Move around a little bit. Take care, guys, and we will. We'll see you soon. Look for all kinds of new content coming out daily, and check out Twitter for the meme of the day.
Oh yeah, I was doing the wrestling meme of the day. They're pretty funny. You guys should check them out.
Absolutely. Be good, guys.